But the other way that we use email within our business, I would say, is far more valuable to us even than that. Excuse me. And what I'm talking about now is using email to play the long game, if you like, to build a relationship over time with our contacts. For us, new business acquisition is quite an expensive process to go through. So getting a new lead is 6 or 7 times, they reckon, more expensive than maintaining an existing contact relationship or an existing customer. So in our business, it's all about, obviously we want new customers, but getting the most from the contact relationships that we've already got by perhaps cross-selling, or even by getting our customers, our contacts, the people that we're engaging with, to work on our behalf, to refer other people, to make recommendations. So we measure the level of relationships that we have with our customers. Are you familiar with the phrase CRM? Are people familiar with CRM? Most people. So CRM is an acronym for Customer Relationship Management, which people often think as a piece of software, a database that sits in the heart of your business, and you keep all your customer data in there, and everybody shares common visibility of a single set of data, which is kind of partly true, but CRM is really a business strategy. It's the way that companies differentiate themselves against their competitors. And if you read any of the output from people like the CBI or the Institute of Directors, there's much talk there about how companies large and small are doing this, differentiating themselves by creating a better relationship, understanding customers better. So if you look at people like Tesco, got to be the #1 supermarket chain by using their loyalty card scheme to understand their customers better and predict what their needs were going to be, etc. And I think it's the same if you're a multinational conglomerate or a one-person business. If you can understand what the customer's aspiration is, CRM is all about putting the customer in the heart of your business and focusing not on what you want to achieve, but what on they want to achieve, where they want to go, what their aspirations are, and then positioning yourself as a person or company best able to support them in achieving their endeavours. So if you can do that, it can be a very, very powerful relationship. So what we're trying to do is get our contacts and customers to see us as far more than somebody that just sells them some software. So we think of it as a relationship level thing, where you might call the base level transactional. So people come, they buy, and they go. That's not to say they're not happy with what they bought from you, but that's the extent of the relationship. And then there's a level above that we want to get them to, where they become repeat customers. So they come, they buy, they go, they come back again, they buy, they come back again, etc. But then above that, there's another level that we call advocacy, where they keep coming back to us, but they enjoy the relationship so much that they start to tell other people how good we are, etc. And we start to get personal referrals from those people. And in our business, certainly, and I think yours are probably similar, in that a personal referral from a customer to a third party is pretty much the best quality lead that we can get, because ultimately the contact that we get has been referred to us by somebody that they trust, so it's de-risked the sale for them. And that's what we're trying to do with email marketing. So we're trying to use it, and I'm talking about the long game, using newsletters and such like to drip feed information to people over the long term, maybe working in conjunction with other communication strategies, but to try and get people to see us as far more than just a vendor of software. So in our newsletters, we're constantly feeding them with information that we think is valuable to them, useful to them, so that we're not just the people that sell them software, that we're the people that actually understand how they use the software in their business and support them in achieving their ends with that software, if that makes sense. So it's a bit high level, it's a bit 60,000 feet, but it's actually really, really powerful. And that's all we're doing with our email. So typically how that works in a practical sense is that we're sending out newsletters with various articles in, 4 or 5 or 6 articles, and then we're looking to see in the tool not who's clicked on that link so we can beat them with a stick until they surrender, but what articles, what content in our newsletters that we're putting out is more valuable. What do people like to read? What resonates with people? And then, of course, in future communications, you can't really do this so easily with direct mail. In future communications, we'll focus more on that type of content. So we're improving what we do all the time. Does that make sense? And then that's also working in conjunction with our search efforts, other stuff we do on Web 2 technologies, in our social media platforms, blogs, forums, websites, because Another thing that we do is we spend lots of time and effort and money on search engine optimization, driving traffic to our website. So if somebody arrives at our website, they've probably found us on Google because we've toiled and sweat for many long hours, over many long weeks, over many long months to get them, to get the site optimized, if you like. Or maybe they've clicked on one of our pay-per-click ads, and we're paying something like £1.75 per click at the moment, after many hours and labours trying to reduce that cost. But ours is a very competitive industry. So when we get people to the website from these sources, we want to get some level of engagement with them. And what we'll try and do is get them to fill in a form, subscribe to a newsletter, etc. But most importantly, when they get to the website, we want to make sure the content that they find there is valuable, is appropriate, is interesting to them. How do we do that? Well, by looking at what people read in our newsletters. So again, we use the email marketing tools to give us visibility of what people like in the newsletters and use that to impact upon the content that we bring onto the website. So all these things work hand in hand. But the digital strategy piece is really about starting with a plan, understanding what you want to achieve. And the great thing about technology is that there's lots of opportunities to engage, lots of different things you can do: social media, web design, search engine, email marketing. But actually the worst thing about technology is there's lots of things you can do. There's website, there's email. So where do you put your efforts? Where do you start? And I think unless you start with a really cohesive, concise strategy and understanding what I'm trying to achieve, it's just all too easy to get lost in this massive mire of technologies and internet stuff and really just forget why you entered into it in the first place. So it's a statement from the Ministry of the Blooming Obvious, but what I'm saying is the first thing that we always advise people to do is make a plan. Strategy is a grand word, but we're just saying, what is it you are trying to achieve? Where is this going to make its contribution in your business? And specific is good. So rather than to say, we're going to really invest our efforts and resources in interactive communications to get more business, it's better to say, we're going to use email marketing technologies to gain new customers and increase revenue from new customers by 20% by the end of 2011. Or we're going to increase the amount of increase the revenue from existing customers by referrals by 15% by September. So dates and numbers and times are specific, because then of course you can measure the performance, you can see whether in fact you're meeting the objective and make the tweaks and modifications along the way to ensure your success. But I think email, a point worth making is that the long game is where I think the value is. So people think they'll get a quick win with email, and you can do that. People tend to think we'll send 10,000 emails out tonight and tomorrow people will queue up at our door to buy our products and services. And it can deliver those sorts of values, but I think the real power of this stuff is to play the long game and use it over time to build those relationships and get more value from them.